Hey, Mike.
Hey, Greg, how are you?
All right, man.
How's life treating you?
Like a baby treats a diaper.
Oh, no. Can't
No,
be that.
that's one of my favorite lines from Cheers. You know, Woody, when Norm would come in, and,
Yeah.
how's life treating you, Mr. Peterson? Like a baby treats a diaper, Woody. That's one of my
That was a great show.
that or he'd ask him, how's the world treating you or whatever. He'd say like, I'm wearing
Yeah.
dogs are chasing me, or it was something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my favorite one right there. It's just like a baby treats a diaper.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's had a busy week. I'm actually going to meet a client for a 6 o'clock meeting, so I may have to exit off right before you finish.
All right.
But I'm going to be listening in on the car,
Yeah.
so I'll mute myself and all that.
Okay.
How about yourself? You have a good weekend?
It has been a good week.
Yeah,
Been a busy week.
good.
So, yeah. It's kind of one of those weeks where I woke up this morning and I was like, what day is this today? You know,
Yeah,
um, so,
I can't believe. I mean, before you know it, we got to get ready for the meetings. In the morning on
yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah.
It's just week is flying by.
Yeah.
But it's all good stuff. I mean, for me, um, gosh, I think I got four leads in the last week.
Really?
Yeah, just it's been all of a sudden, you
Yeah.
know, people are inquiring about assisted living, independent living, memory care.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's been busy.
Cool. Cool.
In addition to all the other stuff I got to get done, between social media and um, just all these different channels that I'm working on.
Yeah.
When I had some time, because the phones weren't ringing for such a long time with the pandemic going on.
Yeah.
You know, I had some time to work on this stuff, but now that clients are actually, potential clients are actually starting to call, I got to do my job, and that other stuff's got to go off to the wayside, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I continue to think about at some point, I want to bring on that rainmaker person who will do all that for me, you know, and, uh, and lead and really lead getting the leads in and doing the
Yeah,
marketing piece.
yeah.
Because
I
I
would
just,
love to have somebody do all that stuff because it's
yeah,
just between LinkedIn, you're the same way.
yeah,
Between Facebook, LinkedIn, I've got a Yelp page, my Google My Business page. I mean, between all the four of those things and trying to keep content on them so your SEO works.
yeah.
I mean, but I'm not there yet to pay somebody to do that.
No, no. And my SEO is like terrible. Honestly, I need help. And I'm talking with a guy tomorrow
Yeah.
who's another action coach who does a lot of stuff and understands it much better than I
Mm-hmm.
do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's one of the nice things of being part of this franchise is there's somebody out there who's a coach who I can call up and say, hey, I need an hour, you know,
Yeah.
and teach me this. And everybody's very supportive to help out.
Yeah. That's kind of where we're at as well. I mean, we're about 140 strong nationwide, and we
Yeah.
all come from different backgrounds. So whether it be HR, marketing, finance, there's a few of us that come from that corporate world background that, somebody who doesn't, maybe come from the clinical side and doesn't have that skill set.
Yeah.
There's always somebody you can call and or post some help. Hey, can somebody help me with doing my MailChimp contact database? Just something
Yeah.
simple like that,
Yeah.
where somebody will help out. So yeah, it's nice to have that team of people with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we have a few other folks who had expressed interest. I know one just emailed me a short while ago and said, I've had something urgent come up. I'm not going to be able to do it. So But even if it's just us, I'll go through this with you because I think it's valuable and will help you.
Yeah.
So I'm I tell people I have spoken in front of crowds of 5,000 plus, and I do workshops with one. So doesn't much
Yep.
matter.
Well, I'm okay. I'm just sitting in the car, so driving,
Okay.
and I've got my screen kind of on my dashboard, so I can still, I got my heads up display. I can still look at you and look at the windshield in front of me.
Okay.
So
Just be safe.
I'm prepped I'm prepped whenever you're ready to start.
Okay. Because we have another person who's just joined us is Molly Welch. So, hi Molly, can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm very good. Thanks for joining. So, Greg, I should tell you, Molly has a nonprofit that is a second later. Did I get that right, Molly?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Yeah,
and so,
I've met Molly before. Well, virtually I've met her. She's part of the senior group in North Fulton,
okay.
and we're part of the same. We haven't met personally, but she did a presentation for us around the holidays. So I know of Molly. It's nice to meet you again virtually, Molly. I'm Greg Santini with Assisted Living Locators.
Yeah.
So, and Terrence is joining us. Terrence Dowling.
Hey guys,
Hey, Terrence, how are you?
doing well. Can y'all hear me? Sometimes my microphone switches.
I do hear you.
Okay, good.
It's a little bit of an echo, but I hear you.
Okay.
So, and I'm just going to wait just another minute, see if anybody else joins. And while we join, maybe to be able to share, what is the one thing that each of you would like to get out of the next hour? And so, Molly, I'll start with you. Ladies first.
Well, I want to get out ways to help expose myself, whether that's through advertising, just get my name out there. Because I've talked to many places, but I haven't talked anywhere in like 2 months or 3 months. So I need to get out there more.
Yeah. Yeah. And COVID has probably hurt you quite a bit.
Yes, it has.
Yeah. Yeah. Terrence, what's one thing you'd like to get out of the next hour?
Well, I like the title of the webinar, "The Massive Profits." I was like, I'm sure there's one or two things I can pull from this and implement in my practice to increase my profitability.
Yeah. I think there will be one or two things that we can talk about today. And Greg.
Yeah, just kind of what we were talking about before the other guests joined. There's just so much going on, and fortunately, my business has been busy. So, learning how to maximize that time, make it more efficient to maximize that profitability. Look at my processes. See where I can streamline those standard operating procedures to be more profitable.
Yep. Okay. So just checking to see if you all can see my screen.
I can.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. And might be one or two other people who join, but we'll go ahead and get started. So yes, let me introduce myself for if just real briefly. I know you guys kind of know who I am, but I'm Mike Connor. I'm with Action Coach. I'm a business coach. I work with businesses to get businesses to be a commercial, profitable enterprise that will work without them. Meaning, we want to take businesses to that point where individuals have the freedom and flexibility to decide what they want to do with their business. And it provides them with passive income so that they can enjoy those things in life that they really enjoy. And so today we're going to talk about 5 ways to massive profits. And I know it may seem overwhelming to a certain degree, or it, like, come on, you know, that does not sound realistic. But it really is. You know, but let me say, this is not a quick get rich quick scheme. I am not about that. But we can, you know, people can get rich. It takes a few years to do it, but we can build profits in, and we can make people together, working together, we can become very wealthy. And you know, and you can have a great business and being able to enjoy your families and travel and, you know, toys or whatever it is that is your dream. Those things are possible. So today we're going to talk about those ways to increase your profitability. So I want to thank you for your attendance. Time is money, and in business, especially small business, your time is your most valuable asset. You know, in fact, we talk about time management in my coaching. I coach, you know, individuals to manage their time, but that's a bit of a misnomer, because you can't manage time. Time is fleeting. You manage how you handle your time. And so you making the commitment to take this hour is a tremendous gift to me, and it's also a gift to you. So I want to congratulate you on taking your time and spending this time with me. Business does not mean busyness. That's the other thing. Is today I want us to think about how we get out of the busyness of business. How you invest your time is one of the keys to your business success. And where are we going to put that time? So today, in the next hour, I'm going to, we'll reward your time with some of the simplest and easiest, fastest ways to increase your income. And just a few of Action Coach's examples. So first, I mentioned briefly, but Action's definition of a successful business is a commercial, profitable enterprise. What this means is, it's a product or a service that we provide. Whether it's, even in a nonprofit, there is money that we are making, right? Molly, you need to be bringing in money so that you personally are profitable, right?
Correct.
And it's got to be commercial. It's got to be something that we are providing, some sort of goods or some sort of service. So it's a commercial and profitable enterprise. But that's not the end of the definition. That works, right? If the business is not working, if it's so dysfunctional that it's like not really functioning well, it's not a business. So it's got to be working. It's got to have the operations and the systems and all in place for it to actually be working. And then the kicker is works without you, meaning we want to get every business to a point where the person who owns it has that commercial, profitable enterprise that works without them. It's giving them income, whether they are showing up on Monday morning or off on a cruise for 3 weeks. It's working without them. Thoughts, questions? We agree?
I have a question.
Sure.
I just don't know how it would work without me, because I'm the only one in my company.
We'll build your company. Do you always want to be the only one?
No, not always.
Yeah.
but I'm a motivational speaker, and the accident happened to me. So I'm not sure where I can fill those places.
So I think a lot of it is how you take the experiences that you've had, and you talk about marketing, right?
Mhm.
The one way that you currently are marketing is through motivational speaking, right? Right now with COVID, you've not been able to go out to schools or to the other places where you've done speaking, right?
Right.
So if we were to pivot and we say, you know what, there are other ways to market Molly and the experiences, and so we pull together, for example, if we start doing webinars, and so you can't be face to face with people, but you're going to do a webinar, or maybe writing a book, maybe other ways in which you're able to get your message out. So there's ways to be able to market you. As that continues, the idea would be you're going to need more people. You're going to need an admin to help to schedule things. You're going to need somebody else who's going to be a booking agent. You're going to need all of these other things. So yes, there's the idea that it may not, you think that it won't work without you, but in reality, it could get to a point where you have all this function underneath you that like books you, and all you do is you show up where you're expected to be and give a speech, right?
Right.
So it's building that business, and that name recognition. And there's a way that we would do that over time, right? Even though it's just you right now, if your vision is to be something bigger, we can work to that vision.
All
Does that
right.
make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So the idea is that we work on our business, not in our business, right? Working on the business is to grow it to this, this definition. The big dream is now, what's your revenue in your business? What revenue is your business generating? Where do you live? What do you drive? What investments have you made? What are your upcoming travel plans? Right now, not much, right? What is your family enjoying? How much time are you working in the business? Probably as you think about these questions, you're like, nah, my revenue isn't where I want it to be. My house is okay, but I'd like to live someplace else. My car is 10 years old. I'd like to drive something nicer. All those sorts of things. Right? Hey, Molly, we're getting some background noise. Thanks. So in 5 years, though, what revenue is your business going to generate? And where will you live in 5 years? What will you drive? And if you don't have that vision and that big dream, the reality is you're probably going to be the same place in 5 years that you are now. But if we put together the plan and the dream, we can move to that 5 years and we can have those things in place. I just talked with somebody earlier today, and I said that, I did the definition of what a business is. It's like, and even for the three of you, think about, when is your business done? When is it completed? In other words, when is it at a point where it is giving you the passive income, and you don't have to work at all in the business? It's just there. Put a date on it. Actually put a date. Because if you don't put that date, you'll never get there. And when I was talking with this person, they're like, 3 years. I want it to be completely passive income in 3 years. It's like, okay, we will get there in 3 years. It will be making enough money for you to like have passive income the rest of your life. It's going to take a lot of work, but we'll get there. If you don't think about it, it'll never get there. So the keys to business success is leverage. Doing things once, using it multiple times. Have done this in so many ways. I hate repeating things. If I can put together this PowerPoint and I can use it 1,000 times, I don't have to recreate it every time, right? I leverage it the one time. If you write a book, you can send that out and you can educate people, right? Molly, this is where we can replicate. You have something that you have done once and you make it available multiple times and you generate the income off of it. Building people, build the people around you will make your business a success. Systems, how do we put together the processes, the operations in order to make sure that your business is successful? Technology, how do we improve technology? Technology is going so fast. How do we stay on the cutting edge? Greg, you and I were talking about all these things that are out there. I've been telling people right now is the best time for small businesses because technology is so available to people in marketing and other areas that it's there, it's cheap, you can do it. You don't have to have deep pockets for marketing. And then again, of course, sales and marketing. How are you selling and marketing your business? Those 5 things are the key to actually building systems or building a successful business. Some people think sales and marketing is what? Throw out a term, anybody. When I say sales and marketing, what?
Google Ads.
Greg, what's that?
I said boring.
Boring? Terrence, what'd you say?
Google Ads.
I'm missing it.
Google Ads.
Google Ads, yeah. Yeah.
All I got to do is put out some Google Ads and the sales will come.
Yeah, right. And your accountant says sales and marketing is an expense, right? It's just money that goes. And all of us have had that mindset in the past. Sales and marketing is just money going out that we're not doing anything with, right? And we don't see anything back from it. Our view as Action Coach is sales and marketing is an investment. I was talking to my accountant earlier today. It's like, I know you think it's an expense and maybe for tax purposes, but sales and marketing is an investment. I expect a return on my investment of sales and marketing. If I'm not getting a return, it is not good sales and marketing.
Michael?
Yeah.
I have a lady who wants to do advertising for me, and she wants to start off on like social media, and then eventually get into movie theaters.
Okay.
Do you think that's a reasonable investment?
So hold that question for just 30 seconds.
All right.
And we'll get to it. Because if you read the bottom line here, every dollar out, more dollars should come back in. So every dollar that you spend in sales and marketing, you should get more money back in, right? And
Right.
for some businesses, that's true, and for others, not. And there's one very clear reason why this is the case. And it has to do with test and come off of mute. Anybody guess what the other term is? Terrence, I know you know.
Test and fail, or
Oh, put it in a positive way.
test and measure. Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, put you on the spot there.
Yeah.
No, a lot of people probably think sales and marketing is test and fail. You're probably spot on right there. What we want to do is we want to test and measure. So Molly, the answer to your question, is it a good idea? I don't know at this point, to be honest with you. I would say to that person who wants to do advertising with you, all right, what kind of test and measure are we going to do? I'm not going to sink a lot of money into this unless I know that it is going to have a greater return than my investment. And if you can't guarantee me that, why should I give you a dime? Right?
Have you I know this is have you ever heard of JK and L Media?
I haven't, no.
Uh,
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not saying that they're, you know, no comment on them particularly. But the reality is, whatever advertisement that folks are looking to do, there needs to be a return on the investment. I spent 10 years, some of you know, I spent just over 9, just less than 10 years at Nielsen. Nielsen is all about advertising, right? And for a part of that time I was at Nielsen, we actually, I worked in the television audience measurement area where it is all about commercials. It is all about advertising. And you would not believe the amount of detail that goes into television advertising. We had the largest video recording database in the world. I had access that I could go in on our servers and say, I want to see what was on this particular channel at 2:32 p.m. on this particular day, and it would pull up what was on at that particular time. It was down to that detail. And the reason being, every time there's a show that's on, if there is any kind of product in the show, we had technology that scanned everything that's ever broadcast on any channel to pick up product placement. Because anytime there was a product that was in a show, whoever's product that was getting advertising. And they actually had to pay for it. But they had to, you know, you also have to show that you're getting some value for it. We talked about, you know, at Nielsen, every second of advertising was monetized. And it actually, we were regulated just like it was a currency, just like it was the dollar or the British pound or anything like that. Advertising dollars on TV is a currency, but people test and measure what it is. That's on a big scale. We need to bring it down to our size as well. There will always be people who tell you, oh, I will advertise for you and I will get you, you know, you'll get in front of this and that, and they'll charge you a lot of money. And in reality, that's why those situations are why people say marketing is horrible and it fails and it's just a waste of money, because people don't test and measure beforehand. They dive in and they do a lot of money. They throw a lot of money at something and they don't get the results that they expect. So anytime you're doing any kind of sales and marketing, as you're doing it, if you know, this is a tidbit for you to take away. think about, as you're doing that testing and marketing, what outcome do you want? How many leads do you want? How many sales do you want? From that test or from that marketing piece. If you don't think about that as you're doing it and get specific about it, your marketing will fail. Very simply. But if you go into a marketing plan and you say, okay, I want to get 100 leads out of this. And out of those 100 leads, I want to get 5 clients who sign up, who pay me money. So you're going to test to make sure that you get that. And you're going to measure it. And if you don't get the 100 leads, then you're going to drop it, right? Here's 2 sides of marketing as well. You have your acquisition cost. So if you invested $300 in advertising and you got 10 customers, you pay $30 for each one of them, right? Does that make sense? Your acquisition cost is $30 a piece. How can we reduce that? There's ways that we could do testing and measuring. Okay, I'm going to spend $300. I want to change my headline on this advertising, and maybe I'll get 15 customers. And then your acquisition cost is just dropped, right? I heard, was talking with a business recently. They were advertising in a magazine, right? And they had been running this headline in the magazine on a regular basis for quite a while. And they weren't getting the responses, the hits that they had been getting. And so they decided to come together and their marketing team and say, okay, let's do some focus groups on what we can do with this headline. And so they went to Google Analytics, spent a very small amount of money, and said, let's test market some new headlines and see what we get. And they found that the headline they had was doing okay, but there was actually one person who had a headline that it just blew everything else away. It got like 200 times the response that their current headline did. And they changed up the headline and they started getting the responses back, and it paid back in dividends. They didn't do anything except do some test and measuring and see how we could do it. Their acquisition cost just dropped dramatically because all of a sudden they had a better ad than what they had before. So that's one thing that we as action coaches do is we critique people's ads. We'll look at your ad, we'll look at those email lists, and we'll say, we'll let you know this is where it could improve and you'll get better response with this. That's one thing that we do. The other is consider the lifetime value of your customers, right? So if your customer spends $550 with you over a year, over 6 years, that customer is worth $3,300 to you. How do you increase that number? How do you get them to spend more with you? Some ways are, and we'll talk a little bit about this here in a second, is, they're spending $550. If you even, had them spending $555 a year, that's an extra $30 over the life of the contract, just with a small amount. Or if you get them to, purchase more frequently or other things, you increase the value of your customer. But the idea even that many business people don't put a value on their customers. They think about whatever sale they have currently, but start to think in terms of what is the lifetime value of my customer? How much, if I retain them over 6 years, how much money are they bringing back to me? when you think about that, then your marketing is, okay, if I keep my average customer 6 years and they are worth $3,300 to me over the life of that 6 years, then, essentially anything that's less than $3,300 that you spend in marketing to get a customer is going to be a return on investment, a positive return on investment. So if it costs you, for a customer that has a $3,300 value to you, if you spend $100 to buy that customer, you made a good investment. And that's where marketing becomes an investment. You're buying your customers. Everybody with me still?
Yes.
So now we're going to get into the fun. All right. This is where it gets really exciting. And we have 5 proven ways to increase your profits. All right. They are very simply, you see on this sheet, we want to talk about leads, your conversion, the number of transactions, the average sale, and your margins. You see that there are 3 other things on this sheet. They're small. Customers, turnover, or revenue in some places. In the US, we talk about revenue. Turnover is a UK term for revenue, and profits. Most businesses that I talk to, it's like, tell me your numbers, and they'll tell me, I have this many customers, this is my revenue, and this is my profit. It's like, okay, we can't do anything with that, though. The numbers that we can actually change, have control over, are the number of leads, the conversion, turning those leads into customers. So we take the leads times conversion, and that gives us the number of customers. And then we look at the number of transactions those customers have with us over the year, the average sale, and that turns into our revenue. And take it times our profit margin percentage, and that gives us our profit. So we're going to look at these 5 ways. Right? Leads, conversion, transactions, average sale, and profit margins. So let's put some numbers in here. All right. And I'm not a mathematician, so I'm going to use some real simple numbers. When we talk about the number of leads for our business, let's say we currently have 4,000 people in our database, right? That's in our sphere of people that have been in contact with us at some point, that they are, they are a potential client. They're not just, a name out of a phone book. They're actually somebody who has interacted with us in some way, right? They've responded to a click. They've been somewhere, we've met them at BNI or at the chamber. They're a lead. They're somebody that we could actually bring on as a customer, right? So 4,000, nice, easy number. The conversion rate, let's say it's 25%. These are the number of those leads that we actually have spend money with us, actually give us money. So our conversion rate is 25%, which would mean we have 1,000 customers, right? Like I said, I'm not a mathematician. I do simple math. Let's say each of these customers, they buy from us twice a year, right? So they come in and they purchase whatever good from us twice a year. And each time they buy from us, it's $100, right? Again, all hypothetical numbers at this point. So that would mean our revenue is $200,000 a year. Again, simple math. And our profit is 25%. So that's going to give us a profit of $50,000. Everybody with me? Anybody not following? Yeah, give a thumbs up if you can there.
Yeah.
We're good. All right. So here's where, if the number of leads, we were able to increase that number. And as a coach, I'm not going to say we're going to double it. We're not going to triple it. I would say, what is a reasonable amount that we could increase the number of leads over a year, right? To increase our database by however much. And this would be optimizing SEO. It would be developing new revenues or new lead streams. It would be building a strategic alliance with a BNI or a chamber, or looking at host benefits. So, Greg, maybe you working with, different hospitals, or, getting those relationships at hospitals, developing those new types of leads. Terrence, yours might be, working with financial planners or other folks that could feed you in. And Molly, yours might be working with other nonprofit organizations that have other speakers. And and coming together in a collaborative effort with other nonprofit organizations. And so you have more leads who can feed into your product, right? Makes sense. I have 80 plus strategies to increase your leads. And what we do with our clients is we look at those 87 strategies and we say, which ones will work for you? And I meant to send out to you guys this sheet beforehand, and I'm sorry I didn't get it. It's been a crazy, crazy day. But let me pull this up so you can see it. And are you still seeing the PowerPoint?
Yes.
Okay, let me stop and reshare here. All right. So here, when we talk about our 5 ways, you'll see in lead generation, we have local newspaper advertising, television, radio advertising, industry newsletters, on down, sponsorships, cinema advertising, taxi billboards, other, any way to get your name out there, fundraising campaigns, write a book. I mentioned that. Other things, 86 different ways in which to build your lead generation. Now, the thing about it is, you could take any one of these and say, oh yeah, okay, a news, television ad, let's say. Well, if you just said, okay, I'm going to do a television ad and get more leads, you likely would not get more, you might get some leads, but you need to be more direct. And so where we work is we would say, okay, we're going to do a television ad. Let's look at multiple ways that we could do a television ad, or different presentations within that. And let's test it. Now, television is extremely expensive, but there's other ways. A newspaper ad. You might do a newspaper ad just for, a week or something like that, or however they work, and do several different ones with different wording. Somebody once did a test in this, just to give you an idea. They advertised a job posting, somebody to come in and help with this company, and advertised that it was $50,000 a year. And they got tons of responses. They took the same ad, exact same words, all the same requirements. You have to be able to do this and this and this and this. But then instead of $50,000 a year, they said the pay was $250,000 a year. They got 2 responses. Everything the same except for that. Just a little test of market. One, it talks about how people have a self-defeating and a self-fulfilling prophecy mindset, because if they thought they could do it at 50,000, why can't they do it at 250,000? But the other is test and market and do small tests and see what responses you get. And when you get something that works and gives you your response, then you pour your money into it and you get the big results. So lead generation, come back over here. Here, let's say we increase our leads just by 10%, right? And take it to 440 leads in the next year. Now, conversion rate, again, come back over here. We have lots of different ways to increase your conversion rate, and get people. One of the simplest ways that we help businesses to increase their conversion rate is actually developing a script of how you sell. It's amazing. People go out to sell and they really don't know what they're selling, but they're like, okay, would you like to buy this? No, okay, well, thank you very much and goodbye. If we actually work, and we do work with our clients to put together a sales script and say, okay, here, your lead has contacted you. You're going to call them and you're going to do this. You're going to set up an appointment for a week out. Between your phone call and that appointment, you're going to do a postcard. And then you're going to call the day before and you're going to, ask them a couple of questions. Well, what is it that you're really looking to get? And, how can I prepare and make sure that I'm able to meet your needs? And all of this. Conversion rates are directly tied to understanding what your customers want to buy. See, when we are selling something, it is a matter of, we're not trying to sell, we're trying to help people to buy. People want to spend their money and they've contacted you because they think whatever you have is something that they want to buy. It's your job to figure out what is it that they're wanting to buy and then making that available to them and giving them the opportunity to buy from you. Does that make sense? You guys understand that?
Yes.
Have you had experience there?
Yeah. The only thing is, like, I love this sheet here. The only thing is, like, our conversion rate is much more low. It's much lower than like a 25% conversion rate.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying.
Could your conversion rate be higher?
Yes, I think I would have to take in more volume. Like,
Yeah.
I would have to secure additional leads. Yeah, in a far greater number than I am now.
But even if you have higher leads, if you don't change your conversion rate, okay, so you go from 4,000 to 4,400 leads, but you still have the same conversion rate, you're only increasing your customers by that 10%, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's math. I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah. If we increase your conversion rate, right? And is that just industry specific, Terrence?
Yeah, I think because, insurance is more of like a commoditized product.
Yeah.
People buy it more so on price than anything else. And I mean, we're like middle of the pack. So you almost have to, this would be great to find customers who are not so much concerned with price as they are value, as in how much they're getting for what they pay, above and beyond, the bottom line.
Yeah. So one of the things that we work with, as we work together, one of the things that we do is develop what your unique selling proposition is, because you don't want to be selling just on price. Yeah, and when you're in a commoditized point like that, what differentiates you from every other person out there?
Absolutely. We teach all new reps, you cannot sell on price. You'll starve if you try to sell on price.
Yeah. And so if there is a way that we can leverage you and your value and who you are in a higher way, so that people, yes, you might have more leads, but can we tap into something where it's like, you know what, when you come to me and get your insurance from me, here are some additional things that you get because you're coming to me.
Yeah.
Right. You're going to have, I have a dedicated website that, I don't know, I'm just pulling something out of my head here, but creating those unique things that make people want to buy from you more. Right. Yeah. So then you could potentially increase your actual conversion rate percentage.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense.
Okay.
Because that's kind of like what I do now. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So are there ways that we can even do more?
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at like, how do I multiply multiple versions of myself in terms of I have to do it like through staffing, or because I've hired people and at the price point that we pay, the quality of talent isn't as good. It's like I can't pay somebody $75,000 a year, right?
Yeah.
So at this price point, it's harder to find like quality talent that's reliable. Yeah. However, I was like, it's almost a little bit morbid. I almost welcome this recession because I was like, you'll find better talent at lower prices.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So one way even that we help businesses to increase their conversion rate is simply in follow-up. It's amazing how many businesses that, just don't follow up. They may contact you and it's, and they don't buy at the first sale. You don't convert them then. And then people just, okay, well, then they move on.
Yeah.
Right. Well, if you stay in contact with them, they very well may come back at some future point, or even just asking them, okay, I understand you went with them. Why did you go with them over me? And asking some of those questions, it can hurt. It's like, I don't like hearing some of this stuff, but if it improves us and helps us to convert more and make more money, let's put up with a little bit of pain. Right? So in our scenario over here, if we were able to increase it just by 10%, so not up 10%, but just to 27.5% conversion rate, converting 2.5 more of those. Then it takes your customers to actually 210, right? So instead of that, 10% growth, you have 21% growth in your customers. If we go down to transactions, and again, lots of ways to increase transactions, right? Whoa, what happened there? We increase the number of sales. There's a story about a guy who came up to an action coach and said, I can't increase the number of transactions. Just my business doesn't work that way. It's like, oh, why not? He's like, because I own a funeral home. I'm letting that soak in for a second. It's hard, when they have these jokes, if people, you can't hear people laugh. But actually, so the action coach.
I was on mute though.
So the action coach actually said, but I got you. Are you selling to the dead person or are you selling to their family? It's like, to the family. It's like, and are any of them going to die? Yeah, maybe so. So stay in touch with them, right? You can get more transactions. Get the repeat. The best customer that we have is a repeat customer. And you don't have to do all the hard work of getting them the first time. Another example is a realtor. And I've been talking with a realtor. you know, realtors here in Atlanta, I think people are in their homes about an average of 5 years, right? So most realtors say, I'm not going to continue to follow up with somebody for that. I mean, why? Because they only come back 5 years. Well, you know what? If you send a letter to them once a quarter, just handwrite. Yeah, hey, hope things are going well. I know, whatever. Just a little note once a quarter. Cost you 55 cents and 30 seconds of time, right? Over 5 years, you're talking about an investment of, $5 at the most. And if they come back because, oh, you've stayed in contact with them over all that time, and now they're going to sell their house and they're going to buy another house, and you're going to make, $20,000-$30,000 just by continuing the contacts and keeping them, even if it's not immediate. Getting return customers, huge way. So in our numbers over here, again, number of transaction 2 times. If we just have it, raise it again, 10%. So they come back 2.2 times annually, right? Increase your average dollar sale, right? So Terrence, I don't know about you and how insurance works. You are probably caught with, you can't really do much on the actual price, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So increasing the average dollar sale might actually come for you in ways of looking at additional services or other types of insurance that you can sell.
Other lines of business. Yeah.
Upsell or cross sell or downsell or however, looking at those ways so that you increase the average sale that you have, right?
Yeah.
And again, if we go just 10%, go 10% there so that we go to 210. All right. And again, these aren't huge changes, right? We agree?
Yeah.
Going just 10% in these ways, this isn't like rocket science. But just by doing those small changes, it will increase your revenue 41% to 292,000. Right? And if we have some flexibility in our profit margin, right, to increase it by 10%. And this could be, things even as simple as working to decrease bank fees, putting together some petty cash and putting more controls over spending. If we're in a small business, you know what? It's nice to have coffee and donuts all the time, but if it's costing you a lot of money and actually increasing or decreasing your profit margin a huge amount, do you really need to do it? However, there's a lot of ways that we can look at profit margin and increasing your profit margin. And again, not like wholesale. I used to work in corporate where they wanted to have 6% cuts a year. So going from 25, you got to get it down to 19%. We got to have a profit, or whatever. But we want to increase our profit margin just by, that 10% overall, right? So to 27.5. All of a sudden, that 50,000 in profits is now $30,000 more in your pocket in a year. Massive profits can be had. So it makes sense. You follow. Terrence, where are you? What are you thinking?
No, it makes sense. Yeah, I was just doing the calculations alongside you. Yeah. Yep. Totally makes sense. I like the multiplier effect. Yeah.
Yeah. So for many businesses that I work with, these are much more than 10%. I signed a client today that currently their revenue, their profits are around 90,000. And just going through these numbers that they did, we're looking at increasing their profits to over $500,000 in the next year with, changes that I know I can do it, but I need to be held accountable. I know we can do this. I know that it's out there and we can do it, but I need a coach to help me.
Yeah.
And massive profits can be there. If we increase these, each by 15%, instead of 30,000, you're talking huge profits, and instead of 60%, it's like, I think I figured it once, it's like almost 120% increase in profits. So we can increase, we can give a massive 61% increase to your profits. Dreams can and do come true. Start thinking about an entrepreneur. Start thinking about your future. Start thinking about where you want to go, what you need to do now in order to get you there. If you keep doing what you've always done, you're not going to get there. You'll keep getting what you always got. Right? But hold on to your dreams. They really are real. You can live them. Love, Bart. So the question is, what would you do with an extra 300 hours in this year? If you had 300 hours to spend.
What is that an equivalent of?
What's that?
What is 300 hours the equivalent of? Like 300 divided by 24? Well, really,
that's 6 hours a week.
6 hours a week. Okay.
Right. So if you spent 6 hours a week working on your business and doing these things, right, in the next year, what could you do with that 300 hours if we actually got you this? Where you could spend more time with the important people in your life, you can do different things. Jim Rohn was a motivational speaker many years ago. He said, never wish your life were easier, wish you were better. Improve on yourself. Life doesn't necessarily get easier, but you can get better. If you work harder on yourself than you do on your job, improve yourself. Take action. Brad Sugars, who founded Action Coach, he says, where you'll be in 5 years depends on the books you read, the people you associate, and the actions you take. And the reality is, I talk about these, I do these workshops, and most people who come to these workshops leave and it's like, okay, yeah, that was really interesting. And they don't ever take action. And 3 months, 6 months down the road, they're in the same place that they are. If you don't take action, you don't go forward. So now it's time to get into action.
I would probably fly different places in order to spread my message across the U.S.
I missed the first part of that, Molly.
I'd probably use the 300 hours to fly a bunch of places.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, where we are is, there is an opportunity to look at your businesses and for us to sit down and talk, and look real specifically at your business. And people who come to this workshop, I make available a hour free coaching session to sit down with you, look at your business, look at these numbers, let you run through the numbers and see what is realistic for you if we were to work at this and we were to work together, where you could be in a year, in 2 years, in 3 years, you know, and you could retire and you could do anything that you so desire. And so I make that available to you, you know, and you know, for you to do that, your side is of this free thing is I send out a very simple 4-page worksheet where you tell me about your business, and you got to get that back to me, right? And then we go forward and we really sit down and we talk about the business and what could be done, and if coaching is right for you, right? You know, there was a number of years ago a couple of big name people, one Bill Gates, the other Eric Schmidt, who runs Google. They both are like, if you don't have a coach, it's like, we have coaches. We run some of the biggest companies in the world, and we have coaches. Everybody needs a coach. I like to watch golf. I like to golf as well. It's amazing. People will have coaches for golfing. But when it comes to business, we think we can do it on our own. We just, oh, I know how to do it. I know how to do what I'm doing. And we don't have a coach. Everybody needs a coach. So make it available to you. I have times available. Not this week is full. Next week is just filled up. The following week, I can get times in. And so you guys tell me, would you like to move forward and set up a time? And I'll send you a calendar invite and you can schedule a time.
Yeah, send me one, Mike. The only thing is I got this big test coming up and I'll be done with it in September. So
Okay.
It's like September 29th. So once I'm done with that, I definitely want to sit down and get with you. But
Okay.
To be honest with you, I just need to be studying for like the next, I felt kind of behind on the studying, so I need to be studying about the next 30 days. I'll take a boot camp class on Friday. So,
That's fine. You know what? I think my calendar actually goes out 60 days.
Okay,
So
good. Send
yeah.
it to me. Send it
So
to me.
you can schedule something after that.
All right. Sounds
Yeah.
good.
All right. And Molly.
I would love to.
All right.
Just if you'll just send me the calendar.
Yep. I absolutely will.
Thanks.
You bet. Have a
Have
great
a good day.
You too. All right.
Thanks. Bye.
All right.